What a week! Xbox started very strong with the Xbox Game Showcase, but ended on a very bad note. They're going to lay off a ton of people. I will tell you everything you need to know. Ubisoft is also shutting down studios. We got some interesting reveals from the Nintendo Direct. Even if you don't play on Nintendo, these are pretty interesting. Shadows is getting the last update, and way more gaming news to go over. So good as joining the Sunday News Roundup. And let's go. Xbox had a pretty good show last week with highlights including Gears of War E-Day, which is dropping on October 6th with an open beta happening in August. We learned that the campaign is around 14 hours long, but there will of course also be a horde mode supporting 12 players across 3 squads, and PvP is returning as well. Halo campaign evolved. The Halo 1 remake drops on July 28th or July 23rd if you buy the premium edition. It looked much better than the reveal last year, and after the Xbox Game Showcase they also revealed a third-person mode. I really look forward to playing this on PS5. And fun fact, by the way, this trailer, which was captured on PS5 Pro, was actually supposed to air during the State of Play, but Microsoft pulled it at the last minute, and this reportedly angered Sony a bit. But yeah, the console wars are back, more on that in a second. Magicians, the Devil's Deal looked very interesting if the footage shown in the trailer is truly representative of the final gameplay, and Persona 6 was officially announced, but only with a logo. Rumors suggest that the game is targeting a 2027 release. I was pleasantly surprised by the new Resonance, A Plague Tale Legacy trailer, focusing on the Greece-inspired setting while showing significantly more combat, including multiple arena encounters. The game launches on August 27th. I think it looks pretty promising. Wo Long 2 was also revealed and is coming in early 2027, like that February and March release window is also shaping up to be incredibly crowded, with Fable potentially being the biggest title in that period. We saw a brand new trailer for Fable during the Xbox Game Showcase, revealing a new villain played by Hayley Atwell, who you can of course know from Mission Impossible. The cutscenes look incredibly high quality, which is awesome to see in an open world RPG like this. They later followed up with 30 minutes of new gameplay focused primarily on the life sim aspects of the game. We learned that we can romance every one of the 1,000 unique NPCs by first completing tasks for them and then asking them out on a date. You can purchase any house or business and decide who will work for you. It's also cool to see the wide variety of cosmetic items available, allowing us to mix and match outfits however we want, from like headgear, eyewear, torso, trousers and boots. And yes, you can attack townfolk at any time, which will cause guards to pursue you and issue a bounty specific to that region. Now I still have some concerns though. The combat they showed looked fairly easy, although there are some cool abilities that can spice things up. The romance system also seems very simple so far. I know that's similar to the older games, but I wanted to see bigger improvements. Like I worry that every NPC relationship might ultimately lead to the same cutscene without much like things that are unique to each character's background and personality. Overall though, I'm excited to get lost in this world because the graphics and art direction are incredible, and the game will feature 6 distinct zones to explore. The game launches on February 23rd or February 18th if you buy the premium edition, which also includes an expansion that will launch later. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. We'll of course keep you posted and let me know your hype level in the comments down below. But that was not the biggest news out of the Xbox Game Showcase, so let's go over that soon. But first, the sponsor of this video, Blizzard Entertainment with Diablo Immortal, a game that has evolved a lot over the years and you can easily pick up even if you never played a Diablo before. This is the core Diablo experience, but one that you can take with you anywhere and can play solo or with other players in short bursts. It has the iconic bosses, tons of story chapters, endgame activities and way more, with new zones also getting added over time, and they sometimes do special crossover events as well. There's a ton of customization, lots of ways to upgrade your character, which is needed for the special raids you can do with larger groups, and I got a special offer. If you download Diablo Immortal for free through the link in the video description and use the code ZergRush when you install today, then you get a ton of free amazing rewards, including legendary gear, gems, crest and more. The game is out on iOS, Android and PC. Thanks again to Blizzard Entertainment for sponsoring this part of the video, and now let's get back into it. Now Xbox is returning to console exclusives, so these games will still be available on PC including Steam, but not on PlayStation 5 or Switch 2. And we should now be able to expect Xbox exclusives every year, with Gears of War E-Day being the big one for 2026. But what's interesting is that this decision really seems to have been made at the last minute. The Xbox podcast after the Xbox Game Showcase had a splash screen for Gears of War E-Day that included a PS5 logo. There was also a rating mentioning PlayStation 5. Retailers listed the game for PS5, so pretty clear that the decision to pull Gears from PlayStation was made very late in the process. The other Xbox console exclusive is the very cool and ambitious Clockwork Revolution. The new trailer once again showed how your choices can completely impact the world. I think this is going to be a special game. It continues to look very cool. I love the personality. But yeah, what is actually going on here with the exclusives? Well, I read a ton of interviews and consumed a lot of news surrounding this topic, and it seems that the biggest reason for these exclusives is that Microsoft does not want to lose its die-hard Xbox fans. And I mean that in multiple ways. Having exclusives gives those hardcore fans something to be proud of. They chose to invest in the Xbox ecosystem over other ecosystems, and now they're rewarded with games that can't be played on competing consoles. This creates also more positive word of mouth and generates excitement within the Xbox community. But I think the bigger reason is to stop Xbox owners from jumping ship. Because really, if you can play all the Xbox games on PlayStation while also getting access to all the PlayStation exclusives, that's simply a better deal than sticking with Xbox. Microsoft right now is also very careful with its selection of exclusives, and they actually announced more multi-platform game than exclusives, so it tells me they're still really testing the water. Gears of War Reloaded only sold around 600,000 copies on PS5 according to the latest estimates, so what was E-Day realistically going to do in the very crowded September and October release window? 1 million copies max? At that point, it would be way more valuable as an exclusive. And Clockwork is also a brand new IP, so you're not losing that many sales because there's no dedicated base already on PS5 for that game. But again, if they were going all in on exclusivity and the Xbox console, they would have made State of Decay 3 exclusive. But no, that game is launching on PS5 day 1 in 2027. They never launched a State of Decay game on PlayStation before, so they likely see potential. They also announced a new, more action-focused Hellblade game called Senua, which is launching next year and also coming to PS5 on day 1. I've always liked the setting and presentation of the Hellblade games, but never really enjoyed the gameplay, so this looks much more appealing to me. But here, once again, Hellblade 2 launched as an Xbox exclusive, did not move the needle, so bringing this new game to PS5 immediately also makes sense. Like the new Spyro game, also coming to PS5, I don't have to explain that one. So they're returning to a case-by-case basis strategy for each title, but so far it looks like the huge releases, such as the next Elder Scrolls and anything from Activision Blizzard, will continue to come to PlayStation, while titles like potentially the next Halo, future Obsidian RPGs, and maybe even other Bethesda games such as Wolfenstein 3 could be an Xbox console exclusive. Blade is going to be interesting, curious if they are going to make that an exclusive, because that really showed that they are serious with this. I do think it's gonna sell really well on PlayStation though. And even though that game was absent from the showcase, it's still actively being worked on. But yeah, they've tried that case-by-case basis strategy before and it did not work. I really think if they want to turn things around, and their goal right now is to become the biggest publisher and entertainment company by 2030, they have to pull some bigger things than some small exclusives. Making online play free, that would be a huge move that I do think would see some people be like, maybe Xbox is the better place to play, because I don't think PlayStation will drop the PS Plus requirements. Let me know what you think. Let's go over way more gaming news, including that bad part of the Xbox news. Of course, a like would really help me out, and subscribe, because I post one of these big gaming news channel videos every Sunday. Now time for quick shots, news stories I will go over quickly. A game that was absent from Summer Game Fest was Horizon Hunters Gathering. Actually, no live service Sony game was there or at the state of play, which shows that Sony has learned. In the case of Horizon Hunters Gathering, it's very likely because the game still needs quite a bit of work, which was apparent in the most recent test that they did that I checked out. I'm curious when they're actually aiming to launch it, because this week we learned that the much cooler looking Horizon multiplayer game from NCSoft is currently planned for the first half of 2027. So I expect a beta or some sort of test for that game later this year. Yes, this game actually feels and looks like Horizon, but with the addition of melee combat. The interesting thing is, as you might know, that this is being developed for mobile and PC and is not even planned for PS5 right now. Likely because Sony doesn't want to take attention away from Hunter's Gathering, which I would not be surprised is also targeting a first half of 2027 release. Now, I could write a whole essay about how they've handled the Horizon franchise since the launch of Forbidden West, but I will save that for another time. I really want to get my hands on Steel Frontiers though. I hope I end up liking it a lot more than Hunter's Gathering, but time will tell. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. There were a couple of big surprises at the Nintendo Direct this week. Kingdom Hearts 4 showed up with brand new gameplay and is launching on Switch 2 as well, but no release window was given. There's a Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake coming to Switch 2 this year, but we sadly did not see any gameplay. But no, the biggest surprise for me during this show was a casual announcement for the Dragon's Dogma 2 DLC. Just like the original, this expansion is called Dark Arisen, and it will include a new region, new monsters to battle, new skills to use, 12 unique dungeons with special rewards. Like, it seems a pretty meaty expansion. And they've also dropped an update to make the base game more enjoyable by adding more fast travel points and more ways to fast travel and other quality of life improvements, with even performance improvements coming at the end of August. And yes, the DLC is dropping October 6th. Again, very cool surprise. Let me know if you will return to the game in the comments down below. And yes, I said there was some bad news too, because a few days after the Xbox Game Showcase, the new Xbox CEO posted a lengthy memo about the dire situation of their business. The most important things include the fact that they will end this fiscal year at about a 3% accountability margin, down year over year, which means that for every $100 you make, you're spending $97 and keeping $3, which is really bad. Dr. Serkan points out on Twitter that Microsoft could make more money just leaving the cash to the bank, as that would give them 3.6%. Ashish Sharma, the Xbox CEO, also notes that hardware component prices have skyrocketed, and as we plan for the 2027 holiday season, we expect another significant increase, taking us over 5 times the price we paid only 2 years earlier, which is crazy. But then she does hint at the potential of other manufacturers making Xbox devices, so there's a new gateway into the platform. Another interesting point is how she says that they have very large franchises, but have not adequately funded them to compete and win, while also acknowledging that they need a good balance between those big games and third-party exclusives and new IP. So okay, what's really going on? They are preparing significant layoffs, with The Verge even reporting that a studio closure is in the cards. And while said, I do think this was bound to happen. So any studio that was not at the Xbox Showcase could be on the chopping block, I think, with prime candidates being Double Fine and Compulsion Games that most recently did like South of Midnight and Keeper. Super creative teams, but their games won't move the needle one bit for Xbox's future. Now let me know your thoughts in the comments. These layoffs should happen at the end of June or beginning July, so I will of course keep you posted here, and my thoughts are with everyone at Xbox right now. Ubisoft already closed multiple studios this week, resulting in up to 380 job losses. Ubisoft Winnipeg and Belgrade studios are no more, while Barcelona will now only focus on Rainbow Six. Insider Gaming reports that the Rainbow Six overall sees 120 people off the project, so less people working on live service content. And employees in publishing at San Francisco were also laid off as part of this reorganization. Of course, also here, hope everyone lands on their feet. This is a really sucky situation. I think the whole ongoing Ubisoft restructuring is coming to a close soon though. We might have a few of these news stories, and then I think only it will happen if the big releases they're working on fail to deliver. In the next 2 years, Ubisoft has Assassin's Creed Hexe, a new Far Cry open world game and PvP title, a new Ghost Recon, and probably the Splinter Cell remake, among other Assassin's Creed titles. Once again, skipping the rumor roundup because a lot of rumors were for Summer Game Fest. So moving on to this coming week, it's going to be a bittersweet one, because we're getting the final update for Assassin's Creed Shadows on June 16th. I was part of an early briefing for this update and can share more on June 15th already. We'll of course be streaming all the new stuff as well, so I hope you can join on Tuesday. It's going to be good. Like, prepare a good build, that's all I will say. We also got the achievements now, with one noting that you have to complete a challenge level 10 domain, whatever that means. And there seems to be a new mission versus the Templars. So yeah, all happening very soon. I would reinstall the game if I were you. if you're of course curious about this. I'll of course also do my weekly news stream on the React channel. Thanks again to Blizzard Entertainment for sponsoring this video. You can check out Diablo Immortal via the link in the pinned comment. Subscribe, leave a like, and you can also watch my video on Blood Message, my favorite game of Summer Game Fest, by clicking on the screen. Goodbye.